3, 2, 1.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host Hunter here, and I'm here with Scott. Scott, how you doing, my friend?
And you're just the most humble host, if I may say so. The humblest of all
thanks,
the hosts.
Man. That's the humblest with the mostest. Yeah, that's. But we are here to review the latest Melissa McCarthy vehicle, co-starring Octavia Spencer in Thunder Force, which is written and directed by Bill. You know what? This movie fucking sucks. I'm not even gonna try. This movie blows. I'm not even gonna try to hide how I feel. Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. I hate this movie. Like, I hate this movie in a way that. So let's be clear. We've reviewed several Melissa McCarthy films on this podcast. The Boss comes to mind, which you and I were on the review on, and God, I hate that movie. That movie sucks. Life of the Party, which I believe Colin and I were on the review for that. Yeah, that's the one in college.
Tammy.
Yeah, you weren't on that one. Yeah, God, Tammy. I don't think we reviewed Tammy, but we might have. I'll be real. These all just blend together like a motherfucker. And here's the thing. Bill Falcone.
I'm sorry. He acted in Spy. He didn't.
Yeah. And you know. Yeah, and Spy's always the outlier. So, you know, Falcone and Melissa McCarthy, they've been married since like 2005. Like, they've been married together. They've been together for a minute. And here's what I'll say. He clearly loves her. Like, he genuinely clearly loves her because he continues to find these films so that they can continue, you know, to act together. And, you know, basically, you know, it's a vacation for them. Which, you know what? Cool. But, but the thing about a vanity project is if you're going to do a vanity project, do one. Like, for fuck's sake. Like, could you make these just not torturous? So, again, The Boss is absolutely terrible. Life of the Party, absolutely terrible. I didn't review Superintelligence because I'll be real, I was just fucking angry at it. He was a director and the producer on that shit that came out last year. That was fucking terrible. And the plot, and I use plot in very heavy quotes. So Melissa McCarthy plays Lydia, Octavia Spencer plays Emily, and they've been best friends since they were kids, you know, BFFs as you kids would say, Scott. And
yeah, such a dated thing, BFF.
Right, I know. They're tight AF as you kids would say. But I will give this movie a small crumb of credit. I thought the opening bit where they were friends, I went, oh, I like this. This is fine. If you could maintain this level, that would be cool.
Because in real life, these two are actually friends. They've been friends for a while. Melissa McCarthy and Octavia Spencer.
They are. Yeah, I mean, fuck, you wouldn't know that from watching the movie, but Lydia and Emily, like, they're younger counterparts. I don't know who plays them. It doesn't really fucking matter. But you see Lydia wearing like a Slayer shirt, you know, which I was like, all right, that's kind of funny. And they do play off each other well as far as their younger counterparts. My big issue with how they portray that early on in the film is that the whole thing is they have one fight. It's literally one fight, not even a string of shit. It's basically her going, wait a minute. Yeah. And she forgets to wake up Emily for an exam. Lydia does, because Emily's that super, you know, that bookworm of, oh, I always have to have everything done, you know, a week in advance and all that crap, because her parents got killed. So she has this guilt about needing to make the world safer from
because her parents were killed from miscreants, right?
Correct. The miscreants are basically the the super villains in this world. So can we talk about that real quick? How like a mediator hits and gives only the people that are psychopaths powers? Like just from jump, I went,
okay,
really?
Here's
I'm like,
here's the thing. I think that this was more of a parody of superhero movies than anything. Like, I understand what it was, but to me, it was almost like they rushed through that shit real quickly. I almost found that funny because it was just like, yeah, some meteor hit and some people have it and it killed some people. But it was like they just rushed through that origin story, which was bullshit. But it was almost like backhanded at these just proliferation of superhero movies that have been coming out from Marvel and DC and everybody else, where it's like people have superpowers, everyone has a superpower, and this was like, oh yeah, just some random shit happened and all these crazy people happened to get it, which is completely unrealistic and ridiculous. But I guess I just took it as more of a sarcastic take on superheroes, like we've been seeing forever recently in the past 10 years.
So the thing is, for me, is that this film just isn't even clever enough to be a parody.
That's fair.
You know, and the thing is to go back to your point, the whole concept of supervillains, they barely address supervillains in this. Like, it's kind of insane that considering they're fighting supervillains, I don't even remember, oh god, not Jason Bateman. By the way, Jason Bateman being this shit, he's officially been in something worse.
Disagree. I love Jason Bateman in this. I love him in this. Hard disagree.
I hate him in this. Okay, so let's get to Jason Bateman. First off, no reason for him to be.
But he's so funny in this. I'm sorry. He's
not,
weird.
man.
He's got these weird ass crab hands. It's like the weirdest thing. And like he is like really the only like truly funny part of this movie.
So I will give you I got a chuckle. I got one chuckle from this movie where there's this bit about this henchman Andrew that Jason Bateman or that the crab, God, his name's a crab, Jesus Christ, but that the crab brings up, like it's his ongoing joke about
like henchmen,
Bobby
and he's like
Cannavale.
He gets pissed off. He's like, kill one of these guys, and he like kills one of the best ones.
Yeah, that was the one chuckle, not even laugh, chuckle that I got out of this movie. Because the thing is, man, to your point, you're saying this is a parody.
I don't think it's a parody. I think the origin they just brushed. I think the meat of this movie is what they wanted to get into, and I 100% agree. They just kind of brushed over a bunch of shit of like origins and like it was just a meteor or whatever. Because that was not even the point of this whole thing. Like the meat of it was these two and like their relationship and them becoming superheroes. But yeah, continue.
But the thing with the whole crab thing is that it leads to a romance with Lydia. And dude,
that was funny. That shit was funny. I'm sorry. We're gonna disagree on this movie because going into this movie, I did not take it seriously. Like I did not take any part of this movie seriously, and I actually ended up enjoying some of it more than I thought that I would. And this part was actually, to me, kind of funny. Is that this random Jason Bateman? Like nothing. Like he literally got bit in the balls by a crab, radioactive crab.
And you're laughing at that? Really?
Yeah,
that's funny.
So. Like I didn't, because I'm saying I didn't take this movie seriously. Like I didn't take it as like, oh, that there's no way that would happen. It's just like I think Jason Bateman is funny, and the fact that like him and Melissa McCarthy had this like weird ass romance where they connected over raw chicken was funny to me. I laughed over that. I'm not even gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Man, dude, if you lived in town, I would, even with COVID, I would take an Uber.
Yeah.
Like I cannot believe that. Anyway, so let me go over some of my other gripes. So, I always butcher her name, and I'm sorry. Palm Klipmatev, the
Right,
Mantis
right,
from
yeah.
the Guardians of the Galaxy films. She's a great actress. I love seeing her and stuff. She is in this movie as one of the supervillains called Laser, which,
What a
by the
terrible
way,
name.
her name, that's all you know about her. You don't know where she's from, why she became a villain, what her motivation is. Nothing. You learn nothing, not a goddamn thing about anyone in this movie outside of Lydia and Emily. And even Emily is basically a type of, well, I'm the strong working black woman. Oh, of course I'm single because my man didn't want to say what.
It's because she's a nerd, not because she's a strong black woman. It's because she's some weird nerd.
No. Oh, no. I'm not giving you this one because when her ex-boyfriend or whatever gets her, knocks her up, they go out of their way to go, well, we had this fight and, I thought he was going to stick around. But the moment he heard about my daughter, he didn't want anything. So, of course, they do the single mom trope where she has to bury herself in her work. Oh,
but she already buried herself in her work. That's why her and Melissa McCarthy didn't work out as friends, because she was such a nerd. She had this mission to avenge her parents. So I would disagree with you on that. I think that was just kind of a side piece to me about her, just the reason that the guy wasn't around.
So you know what? I'm gonna disagree with you just off this alone. Lydia is a fuck up. She's such a fuck up until the very last moment where the film requires her not to be. But the thing is, though, dude, she's not even a fuck up like, and I don't know why I'm pulling this reference, but like Eugene from Hey Arnold, where he's like well intentioned. Even Lydia's just kind of a bitch.
No,
just straight
she's
up.
not.
And
she's not a bitch.
She is a bitch. You know why she's a bitch? There's one scene that proves me right. So there's a scene later on in the film where Laser is getting away.
Just hearing the name Laser makes me laugh because that's a stupid name.
It really is. But she gets in this car, this is her getaway car, and Lydia goes, "Oh shit," or the Hammer, which is her nickname with Jesus Christ. But she picks up the city bus because earlier on she talks about, oh man, I bet I'm strong enough to throw a bus, which I remember looking at the screen going, I wonder what's going to happen later on. So of course there's a bus, and Emily goes, hey, don't throw this bus. We don't know how strong you are. And Leah goes, oh, I can't hear you over me getting ready to throw a bus. So she throws this bus ridiculously far. So first off, Scott, two things. One, what are the fucking odds that bus wouldn't crush at least one person? One. And two, they even establish it's a fountain. So it's a fucking tourist spot, but there's no one around when this bus happens to land. Just like, oh, that's convenient. Luckily, no one was here. It's like,
you took this movie way too seriously. You took this, like, I don't know, like, I thought Lydia was, like, surprisingly, and I would admit I'm not somebody who enjoys Melissa McCarthy movies, and I really enjoyed Spy. We both did. But generally, I do not enjoy her comedy in general. But I thought she was kind of a lovable goof in this. I feel like she wasn't a bitch. She was just, like, kind of, like, playing along, and, like, the fact that she had, like, these I'm not saying this was, like, a groundbreaking movie or anything, but she was enjoyable to me. I don't feel like I feel like you just took it way too seriously, that you're trying to find all these holes in the reality of this movie, when it was like, just like the main point of this movie was her and Octavia Spencer and their friendship and the process of them becoming superheroes. There are holes throughout this movie. I would agree. And I think it's maybe just the way that we both went into this movie, but I feel like, and that's a moment there when she throws the bus. Whereas, like, yeah, I think if I was in a different mood, I might have hated that. But I was just like, I was there to receive, like, the silliness of it. And to me, it was just more silly than stupid.
Here's the thing, man. I can laugh at silly. I own fucking Bushwhacked. I know silly can work, but my big thing with this is, even from the start, of their whole journey together. Lydia and Emily, as we established, had this big falling out, and there's this point where Lydia goes to Emily's office, and goes like, "Hey, like, our high school reunion is, tonight. I want to see if you were, coming or whatever." And so Emily very clearly goes, "Hey, I'm gonna go grab something or whatever. Don't touch anything." So first off, while Lydia is standing there, she's like on the outside of this room where there's a chair inside of it. So because Bill Falcone is such a shitty director, she doesn't even open the door, dude. You'll have to go back and watch it. She legit teleports into the room, which I went, really? Like, no one caught this in post? Okay. But she gets into the room, and again, what did she say? Don't touch anything, right? I could even give her touching maybe
I'm sorry, but there was a funny part where she was like turning the light off and on. Like, I think that it was just like so much more so much more playful. Like, I don't know. Like, you're looking for little specific things throughout it, like her opening the door to that room, where I did not at all.
But dude, come on, man.
So you're telling me you have to see her enter the room for it to be believable to you?
So no, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying though, dude, if this is your 5th film and you can't catch something like that,
but I don't think it's necessary.
On,
I don't think that point like really makes or breaks this movie. I'm not saying you think it does, but I'm saying that I don't think that should be like a thing that you get hung up on.
It doesn't make or break the film, but it speaks to the laziness.
Right, and that's
like,
I think that's my overall point, is that like that's the nature of the film, is not to get caught up on the things, but to be like, Lydia is this kind of dumb shit that stumbles upon this superpower. And there are other movies where Melissa McCarthy is in that is kind of this lovable doof that I hate, and I will put my hand up and say it. But I just feel like this one, like, she sells it. I feel like she sells the gullible kind of doofus, like, fuck up. And I feel like she, like, I'm not saying this is not completely uncringeworthy, because there are some cringe points. And I mean, I'm Mr. Plot, right? I'm always the guy that's like, what the fuck happens to the plot here? And they speed right through. I feel like the meat of this movie is the best part. The end and the beginning are the worst parts, because they just blow right through the whole, like, oh, this is Laser, by the way. And like, what's the character's name? Lydia. Lydia almost gets her head blown off in the beginning of this and makes eye contact with Laser. And it's like, oh, cool. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I wasn't caught up on those little things, and I was just there for her experiencing these new powers. And then I was into the lightheartedness, and that's what led me to really enjoy Jason Bateman's part of, like, it's completely ridiculous. Like, his character is so he doesn't even do anything. He doesn't even have a superpower. His superpower is that he has crab arms, and it's not really even his superpower.
Yep.
But the fact that they push it and they end up going on a date, and she's like buttering his claws, and like they both enjoy raw chicken, was really funny to me. And I laughed in this movie. I'm sorry, but I laughed in this movie.
So, okay, couple other things. So first off, Lydia getting her powers is done in just the most derp way.
A lot of bad CG. I will say that. There's some
she's
bad
touching
CG in this.
She is touching every goddamn thing in this room, and then sits down in this chair, which I just went, it looks like a regular, like,
it's like a dentist
medical type, like, setup. So when she sits down and goes, oh my god, it's doing something, I went, you touched every switch in the room, asshole. You really thought nothing would happen? And the part that drove me insane, there is no editor on this movie. The quote, just kind of improv dialogue, comedic scenes just go on and on.
It did seem
on
like, I did make note that it did seem like a lot of these scenes weren't shot in very many takes. Like, you could tell that, like, you know, like she tries to put a straw in a drink or something, or like it doesn't go quite right. So it's like those things you're like, okay, let's just do a reshoot really quick. Like you could tell that a lot of this was like was done in one shot.
So not just that, but there are these scenes again that just go on for forever. This diner that Lydia frequents.
That was random as hell.
She's talking to. Yeah, for no fucking reason. There's this whole thing about him talking about skipping rocks and like salmon, and then he talks about an owl for 5 minutes. I'm like, why is this in here? Like, there's no reason for it to be in here. And after Lydia gets her first injection of the super strength, after she touches everything like an asshole, and they go, hey, you have to stay here now because you have, government fucking property in you. She goes, ew, I didn't want to stay here. It's like, well, bitch, you put this in your body, so you're not going anywhere. But then it leads to this whole reference about Urkel, which just goes on and on. I'm like, please make this stop. Why is this in here? And then we get to hear Melissa McCarthy go, did I do that? Did I do that? No. Sorry, one more time, Scott. Did I do? It's like, oh my God, like, stop this. Stop this right now. It bothers me. Like, I'm going to be real, man. Like, if you could point to anything being even
sure. So, okay, so like throughout the movie, I will point to this. Like, they make her... Like, so part of this is like she casts a lot of like of characters that aren't like models. So her and Octavia Spencer are like more heavy set. Obviously, the receptionist. I forget. I don't know if they have her in here. I believe she's on SNL. The blonde that's the receptionist. She's a little more heavy set. So you can like tell that she's trying to cast people that aren't like traditionally in movies. And part of that is like a non-traditional superhero, which is what she is, a non-traditional superhero. So they have her like in this cutaway sequence with the crab man where it's like romantic. She's like, she's like jumping and doing flips and stuff and like completely unrealistic to her size and weight. And like there's a point where she's like on the top of a Lamborghini and does like a flip. I thought that shit was funny because it's so like like it's such a not a normal thing to have a superhero who is not like a skinny model doing like flips and shit, which she can't do. There's no way that there's not like physically possible. I thought that was funny because it's like you have this person that they're playing off of that. They know that that's unrealistic. They know that this is an unconventional superhero, and her to be able to like do twists and turns and like having like floating in the air and doing flips basically. I thought that was funny that they were playing off of this idea that a superhero has to be this one specific thing.
Okay, like, all right, that's at least an argument. I don't agree with it, but that's at least an argument. The last thing I'm going to say, because this is
we're not going to disagree on that, but I think he was a hilarious part of this movie.
So I will give Bateman like the one thing I mentioned about Andrew, and then the one line that I watched did make me laugh is a little strong, but more than chuckle is when he's at dinner with
that was
Lydia,
a funny scene.
And he breaks his and he breaks his glass and goes like, "Oh, you guys have like weak glasses here," or something to that effect. I went, "Okay, that actually did make me laugh a little bit." I'm like, "All right, fair play." But then, dude, okay, this is where the movie just broke me. I went, "Yep, fuck you." So there's a point where Melissa McCarthy rubs butter on his claw, and I just went, "Oh man, you are not." I was like, "Okay, now if they'd stopped there." Wow, that's stupid. It is fucking stupid. If they'd stopped there, I would have gone, you know what? Fine. But they couldn't help themselves. And so we get to a next scene where Lydia and Emily have talked, after they had their big falling out part 2, Lydia goes and talks to Emily about, I figured out what the evil villain's plan is, which, yeah. Once they're talking again, you find out that Lydia, of course, had sex with a crab, and Emily drops this horrendous line of, did you surf his turf? And I went,
well, she was like sprinkling like Bay, what is Old Bay on
And
her?
dude, and yeah, and that's part two. When the moment that she goes, oh, I always keep a little Old Bay with me. You never know when you're in need to see something delicious. I went,
But
you can
that
fuck
plays
off
into
right
her
now,
character,
movie.
though. She's like a fat slob. Like that plays into her being this like really degenerative person who's like, yeah, I just carry Old Bay with me wherever I go. To me, that was funny. I don't know. Listen. I understand where you're coming from, because I think if I probably saw this in a different mood, I may have thought this differently. But those certain things were like, they just weren't taking themselves seriously at all, and I appreciated that.
I mean, and that's okay.
Listen, I know we're not going to see eye to eye on this one, but I'm just saying.
We're not, and I'm trying really hard to not just yell at you right now, so I'm trying to move on. But there's a sequence where her and Jason Bateman are dancing, and I went, all right, I don't know why this is in here, but sure, why not? And as you mentioned earlier, there's this whole raw chicken bit. In the last shot of this movie, I went fucking perfect. I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I need to see to know my grade. Okay, we're wrapping this up. I don't want to talk about this anymore, but I'm gonna be real, man. This is the 5th movie they've done together. Come on, Melissa. Like, I've seen her. I've seen Melissa McCarthy and stuff. We mentioned Spy. Like,
Name one other.
Again, I'll bring up Saint Vincent.
Fair.
I'll bring up Can You Ever Forgive Me?
Bridesmaids.
I'll bring up the Happy Time Murders. Like, she's not devoid of talent, okay? Like, her being talented is not the issue. But goddamn, they need to not do films together. If this is the best one they can do, which, I mean, I guess it kind of is by default, because, I mean, I would watch this over The Boss. Mm-hmm. Like, I will give it that. I would watch this over... Well, actually...
Tammy. You'd watch it over Tammy.
Yeah,
I guess they didn't do that together. Did they do that one together? I don't think so.
I don't know, sure. But I'd watch this over Identity Thief, which her and Jason Bateman did. Which
that was a terrible movie.
That is worse. So look, okay, I get again, by default, this might be the best film that her and Bill Falcone have done together, but goddamn, like this is frustrating. This is beyond frustrating at this point. And I had one of my friends post, because I shared that I was watching this, and I was irritated by it on my and one of my friends was like, well, I'm gonna address this person specifically. They're like, well, it's kind of on you, and don't forget it's free. First off, fuck you, number one. Number two, my time isn't free, motherfucker. All right, my time is valuable. I have a certain amount of time on this earth, and when I see something like this that wastes my time, I get angry. And I'm sorry, don't you pay for fucking Netflix? Yeah, so this isn't fucking free, so I don't want to hear that shit. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. This is irritating, because yes, the superhero genre is ripe for parody. The Boys does an incredible job of spoofing superhero shit. I believe that a more straightforward comedy like this is something you could easily do. But damn it, this is Melissa McCarthy's second superhero type comedy, and they're not getting better. So I don't know what to tell you. Bateman, I will admit, again, almost by proxy, while I can't think of a lot of stuff. So, okay, there is one thing I will actually say I liked. I thought he was very charming in the initial robbery. Mm-hmm. He was actually charming in that scene. Like, I will genuinely give him that. Like him kind of,
and the little wink on the way out.
Yeah, like I will give you that. Like, that is I will give Bateman that scene. And again, Bateman by far is the best actor in this, which is
really surprising, because Bobby Cannavale, he's generally like a very good actor too.
He's sleepwalking through this shit man. He is. I you know what, man? I'm a huge fan of his, so everyone fucks up once. Everyone fucks up, so fine. But getting my final thoughts. Damn this movie. Damn this movie. Damn this movie. I will never watch this again. This will be my worst of. Even if there's something worse, just because of how angry I am, I will knock it off to put this on there because I can't believe this exists. I'm gonna be completely honest. I was kind of flabbergasted as I was watching this. So, yeah, like I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna give this low go fuck yourself or high go fuck yourself.
So what is that, like
because it's like an F minus because there's the one Bateman scene I liked, or at least I liked him in. And then, by the way, the twist of someone that is working for the king, I just laughed. I went, really? Like, you're presenting this? And the movie has this really bad habit of telling you what's happening in the sense of like, oh my god, they're working for the king. It's even though we just saw it 5 seconds earlier. It's like I know, like you don't need to, like I'm smart enough to connect the dots here.
When, one of the characters, I think Rachel Gonzalez is her name, Melissa Ponzio.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah. Actually, it's not her. Somebody else that works. Maybe it's Melissa Leo. Is that her? Yes. So, what is her character's name? Allie. So they're in like the coffee shop or whatever, and she goes, yeah, I think I need to use the bathroom. And then so she like leaves, and then obviously like Laser comes out of nowhere and is like, okay, well that was obvious.
yeah, like it's not even. So first off, it's kind of obvious from the first scene you see her in because she doesn't like Lydia in this way. That yes, while Lydia is a shitty person, it's almost even a little much even for the situation they're in. So when the movie goes like, oh, we got you, it's like, no, you didn't. It's like, it's very obvious that Allie was going to make this turn. But like I said, hi, go fuck yourself. I god damn it. This movie's just,
yeah, you're not gonna like me for this one. I'm not. I didn't hate this. I was just, there are so many factors that go into whether you enjoy a movie or not. And I'm the first. This is like, her movies are on kind of the same level as like an Adam Sandler, where they're kind of all the same. They kind of play all the same kind of roles. They tend lately Adam Sandler lately, I should say, of like, you kind of know what to expect from them. And I expected to really not enjoy this movie, but I can't give it a terrible grade because I laughed in it. And like, as much as a silly, stupid movie this is, I feel like they owned up to it. And if you're gonna make a silly movie where you don't really go deep into the plot, you don't really go deep into character development, like that was the point of this. And I feel like I got that point, which was to focus on these two, and specifically Lydia and her development from this slob to maybe somebody who's a little bit more redeemable. And I just wasn't really as off put by her character as you were. And I didn't think Octavia Spencer's character was very good. I think she was like super bland through this whole thing. Just being like this, like, oh, I'm just the nerd. I don't really want, I'm like kind of eh. But the way that like when Jason Bateman was there, I loved that like connection, as stupid as it was. I loved how stupid it was, to be honest. I loved how like it's just this guy with crab claws, and he like moves like a crab for no absolute reason whatsoever. And they're like really weird romantic thing, and the way that like things were so obvious, like you knew that who was working against them and who was the double agent. It was like just they almost presented it to you, and I almost felt like that was the point. It wasn't the point to like make this like really in-depth, complicated, Marvel type. Oh, you remember who this guy is? You remember who this guy is? But like oh, there's an Easter egg in here somewhere. It was just like, this is what it is. This is like the fuck up. And I laughed in it, and I usually don't with Melissa McCarthy, and I'm gonna say that up front, is like, this is like she's not usually not somebody that I enjoy. Most of her movies, outside of like Bridesmaids and Spy and some of the other ones that we already mentioned, like, she's definitely not somebody that I enjoy watching. But I laughed in this movie, and I can't back down from that. However stupid I think this movie, I think it's a dumb movie. Like, I'm not gonna say that it's not dumb. I don't think that this is like coming close to any fucking like Teen Choice Award or like whatever the fuck, category this makes it into. But I laughed, and I gotta give it like, a slight above average. I gotta give it like a C+ on this one, because I laughed, and I didn't take it seriously at all. And then I think if you go into this movie not taking it seriously and just taking it just straight, face value, like, it is what it is, and like, you just want to see this person, Lydia, go through this transformation. I enjoyed it, and I laughed in it. It's not like gonna be on any top 10. It's not gonna be on any like top 30 or 40. It's not something that I'm probably gonna watch again, but I gotta admit, when I laughed in something and I, didn't think it was a piece of shit like I thought it was going to be. And I think a C+ is right where I'm at. This is not something, like I said, probably gonna see again. No. Is this something that's gonna be on my top 30? No. But I sat down with my girlfriend, and we enjoyed it. It was not like this something that made me mad like you did. And I know we're never going to see eye to eye on this one, but as it happened, this wasn't one that I hated. So it is what it is. I know.
It's okay. It's all right. It's fine. So, everyone, have you seen this?
Oh man,
really
the
IMDb
rating on this is like a 4.4.
That is way too high. It should be like a 2. I'm gonna be real, man. Okay, we've already gone to spoilers, but once. God damn it!
Listen, it's a dumb movie. It's dumb. Like, the whole thing is dumb. Like, there's no real like high intelligence it needs to really understand this thing.
So it's not even high. So the moment that Lydia talks about needing to eat raw chicken because the amino acids, I just went, all right. So apparently it's nothing but shitty scientists working here to take that into account. But the moment she said that, I went, oh, fuck, how's this going to come back? And so, of course, the crab's like, oh, well, I was going to get the chicken, but, I like it in its raw form. I'm like, oh, for fuck. So, the
but
end
it's
of
stupid.
the movie
like,
is
that's
the
point. It's, like, dumb.
So, the end of the movie is them pulling a Lady in the Tramp, and I just went, you know what? I went, yep, fuck this. Like,
I'm going to stand on this hill, but Jason Bateman is fucking hilarious, and I love him.
Yeah, if you want to see a funny Jason Bateman performance, go watch Bad Words. Don't watch this shit. This is just. But anyway, Thunder Force. God, Thunder Force. Have you seen it? What did you think? Let us know what you thought in the comments. I
love you.
All right, you can like. I love you too, buddy. Like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. Like our gaming page at Real Pineapple. I don't even want to do this. I don't even want to plug the show right now. I hate this movie. Like our gaming page at Real Pineapple Games. Follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You don't get to follow Scott because I'm mad at him. No, Scott, what's your Twitter?
The crab. No. Nickname the first.
Don't you fucking dare change that.
There was a point at the end of this movie where he like tears his like pincers off, and at the very end they're feeding each other raw chicken, but he has like tiny little pincers because they're like growing back. I wasn't even high for this movie.
And like
not even high for this.
And like Like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on SoundCloud, Apple and Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Amazon Music, to name a few, at The Real Pineapple. Thank you so much for listening. We'll have reviews up here soon for The Father, which I'm really excited to share that review with all of you. I'm getting my second COVID shot tomorrow, so things will be a little slow on the review end for this week, so I apologize in advance. But everyone, thank you so much. Please stay safe out there. Wear a mask. Get your COVID shot. Take care of each other. And we'll talk to you soon. Damn crab.